While great, Divinity Original Sin 2 is a tricky game that will pull no punches when it comes to punishing your mistakes, or pushing your luck in a conversation thread. So since this may be the first time with an Original Sin game for some of you, we've put together a little beginner's guide of what you need to know before you set off to Fort Joy and into the world of Rivellon. If this is your first time playing, I recommend picking one of the default classes. The game gives you a great amount of freedom in custom class creation, but it's also really easy to mess up and create a bad skill set if you don't know what you're doing. There is a way to re-roll your character further down the line, but it will definitely make your life tricky for the first few hours. If you want a safe bet, you can roll with an origin character and get the benefit of playing through their story, but if not, you can always recruit them later. Word of warning, if you want to roleplay a skeleton, it's awesome narratively, but makes the game tougher. Healing potions and spells now hurt you, and you must use poison to regain health. Also, friendly NPCs aren't used to the idea of a walking, talking skeleton, meaning you have to wear a hood or shapeshift into a normal form if you don't want to get attacked, or just send everyone off running to the hills. If you're okay with all that though, go ahead and pick a skeleton. Seriously, Divinity is a challenging game. If you're on PC, show that F5 key some love and make liberal amount of quick saves. Quick save before entering a new area, quick save in combat, quick save in conversations. Some areas are hiding enemies that can ambush you. The side who is winning combat can shift in the blink of an eye, or the enemy can summon reinforcements. Some conversations can go sideways real fast, resulting in the person you were just chatting to hauling fireballs at your nether regions. Honestly, you don't want to feel the sting of losing some hours of progress just because your healer got teleported into a pool of cursed blood and your party died. It's not save scumming, it's playing tactically. When you're starting your character, you'll get the option of taking perks. These largely depend on what kind of character you'll be playing, but for first timers, I really think you should take Pet Pal. And not just because talking to animals is cool as hell. The ability to communicate with your beastly brethren can make your life easier. It will allow you to avoid some tricky areas and uncover secrets. I managed to convince a pack of dogs not to rip my throat out just by talking to the alpha. And rats dwelling in dungeons and sewers have kindly warned me about traps and ambushes before I've delved deeper into the darkness. Sure, it takes a perk slot, but it's worth its weight in gold. And really, without it, you're missing out on some great little distractions, as well as hearing voice actors try to get across what a dog speaking English might sound like.
I think I love you.
When a character in your party dies, the only way to bring them back is to use a resurrection scroll. They're quite rare and invaluable for turning combat around and bringing your party back to full strength. While some of the encounters in the early game are tricky, they can often be beaten with a bit of trial and error and some use of saves. As the game goes on though, some of the battles can become drawn-out battles with characters on slithers of health, just holding on to their last breaths of life. This is when you need those scrolls. During the course of a 30 to 40 minute fight, your character might go down a number of times. And in Divinity Original Sin 2, being one guy down in a fight can change everything. Also, make sure that every member of your party is carrying at least one at all times. There's no point having your main squeeze carrying them around, because if they go down, they'll take all the scrolls with them. It's important to stay healthy in the world of Rivellon. Danger is around every corner. When you build your party, the members will give you the option on how they're built. I recommend taking a healer to keep you topped up in combat, but you've got to stay perky while exploring the world as well, especially with all the traps, ambushes, poison plants, fires, and exploding vents that you'll come across. Save your potions for battle, instead carry plenty of food. Some will even have bonus status effects. If you can find a bed, you can let each party member catch 40 winks, and that will slowly refill their health bar. The best way to heal out of combat though is to use a bedroll. The ship that you spawn on will have a few of these, so make sure to take them all as they're not unlimited use. When you use them out in the world, you will refill your party's health back to full and gain the rested status effect. For a gross looking sleeping bag, these are super valuable items, so make sure you keep an eye out for them when you're out in the world or talking to traders. It's important to get your beauty sleep after all. A big part of the Divinity Original Sin series is your command over the elements, so experiment with spells, abilities, and environments to give you an upper hand in battle. Most of the abilities will create some effect or another, especially if you have a specialist spellcaster like a pyromancer or an aeromancer. Water can be electrified, oil can be set ablaze, fire can be turned to steam to block sight, steam clouds can be filled with poison or lightning, characters that are wet are more susceptible to being frozen or stunned, characters who are decaying will be hurt by healing. A lot of this knowledge will come with experience and a little experimentation, so don't be afraid to play around with your options. Before you know it, you'll be chaining crazy elemental reactions and creating cursed clouds of doomed blood that shoot lightning. The world of Divinity Original Sin 2 is dense, massive, and full of awesome things to discover. So if you find that the tricky combat is preventing you from experiencing all those things, then don't be afraid to turn the difficulty down to Explorer mode. The classic mode on Divinity is still a brutal way to play, but in Explorer mode the focus is much more on, well, exploring. Getting a chance to talk to characters and make your own way around the world, discovering things as you go. And once you feel like a lightning spewing, fire throwing, backstabbing, axe wielding badass, there's nothing stopping you from going back and dialing it back up to classic mode for a nice challenge. Divinity is a game that tries to put your experiences first, so feel free to experience it in just the way you want to. So those are our hints to get you started in your adventures in Divinity Original Sin 2. If you have any hints yourself, feel free to share them and make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it or found it helpful. Next week I'll be putting up a feature on just why I love this gem of a game, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Until then, I'm going to go play another 20 hours of the game, so I'll see you next time.